All right, good morning, guys. Today is March 24th. It's a Friday, so we definitely want to be careful with trading today. We've made a bunch of profits this week. I think we only had one loss during FOMC. No, two losses the morning of FOMC and during FOMC. But during FOMC, we were able to recover the trade with a 1.25 risk trade, which ended that particular day up for 75.75% return. So this week, let's see, this week for indices, when was Monday? Monday was, I don't think we've had a loss on US 30. So this week started on Monday. So I'm just looking at our Discord. And don't worry, since the market just opened, we want the market to stabilize. So we're not really missing anything. Let's see. So the 20th. So 20th, we had 4 wins on US 30, 1 loss for US 30. So this canceled out. So this was a small lot size. So you can see on Monday, we had wins for US 30. On Tuesday, we had this win right here, the pending order. Wait, give me 1 second. No. This one we didn't take it. On the live session on Tuesday, we had 2 wins, 3 wins, 1 loss. The other one, when was this? The 22nd. This is the FOMC trade for 1.25%. We had a big win right there. And then this is today, commodities, gold. And beginning Monday, we'll start. So I'll start a spreadsheet to record our daily return in percentages. So that way we can just be pulling up the spreadsheet to see our wins. But I can already see a win here on gold. We didn't have too many gold trades for EU. Let's see what we had. EU, this was a trade taken on the live session on Friday, but from Monday, let's see, Monday. So this is during FOMC when we got stopped out. So we hit take profit for 20 pips, and then second trade got stopped out. So we were at break even, but also before news, we got taken out of a trade we took on the live session. So at this point, we were minus 0.5% for the day. And then luckily we had that US 30 trade during FOMC. And then yesterday we took this trade for full TP for 20 pips. And then today is a brand new day, so Friday. So personally, I took a gold sell last night. Again, I'm still testing out this indicator, so let me clear or hide the markups for now. So this is the indicator I'm telling you. So so the way this indicator is coded, so it's merging the higher high or the high low indicator, and also applying a trend and also the filters into the trend. So if you see the settings, I have like buy and sell filters. You can filter based on super trend, based on moving average, based on squeeze. So squeeze is where price is squeezing. So if you don't want to get alerts in this zone, you just check any of these entries. But so there'll be more to come on this indicator that's for us. I just need to know how I want to do this, because as I said to you guys, of course I do pay money for such things to develop. And as much as I want to give everything for free, I just need to also balance it out for everybody else. But anyway, but for now, everything right now is still free. I need one more change to be made to that indicator before I start using it officially. But today we are just using the prototype version, which has what we need. So right now I'm looking for buys on US 30. Already caught a buy for 100 pips. Of course, this is not going to count since it was before the live session. But personally, I caught this. So right now, for any buy on US 30, we need a retest of this trend line. So remember, our entries are either retest of a trend line, retest of the 9 EMA, or retest of structure. So right now, what I can see, the best place to buy would be a retest of the trend line, right? You can buy at the retest of the 9 EMA, but if this trend line is to hold, so remember this indicator is lagging, but we're expecting this to be established as a high low. So if this trend line is to hold on the upside, sure, this right here could have been a buy, but you want the high probable buy. So the high probable buy would be a retest of this trend line. So we'll just leave that pending right there. It's still early, so no need to rush anything. Gold, I am looking, so I'm still bullish on gold. I am expecting gold to go to 2050. It's definitely retested. So if you look on the chart to my right here, which is the hourly chart, you can see that it's sort of forming a double top, but actually a triple top, right? But we have a higher high above this high right here. So I am looking for gold to break into the 2000 range. And then for any sales on gold, and I did say this yesterday because I did see some other people trying to sell, but I did say at the very least, I would be looking to sell gold at 2035 or 2014 area. So we haven't really tested the 2014 area. So it's a supply zone definitely, but look at how big this supply zone is, 2070 to 2014. So that is a, what is that? 55 zone, 550 pip zone actually, because it's a $55 zone. So if you can survive a filler trade, if you enter a sell here and you can survive gold pushing all the way up here with minimal loss, sure, you can sell at 2014. But honestly, I would start looking for sales at 2034 area for gold. But right now, if we do get an alert based on that indicator we have for a sell, I will take a quick sell on gold for like 20 pips. So definitely, I mean, it doesn't mean gold will just go up continuously. We'll have some pullbacks. So that's why this indicator will be helpful, but you can make money with the indicator by itself, but always use our confluences if you want. And there you go, US 30 is back down. Let me see. So that's what I was talking about. You need to wait for the optimal entry. So US 30, you don't have to wait for me to enter or to say buy or sell. If it gets next to the trend line, drop to the 1 minute, right? Like right here, you can drop to the 1 minute and then wait for a retest, a perfect retest or a near perfect retest of the trend line and closure above, and then that's when you'd buy. You can always get in early if you want, but just make sure you know where US 30 can go, right? So we already have a low around here. So this is 731, this is 8. So this is 100 pips zone. So if you can survive with a stop loss of 100 pips, sure, you can get in early. But for me, I'm looking to get an optimal entry. Again, I've already made a very good return already for the day. So for those of you who are just getting in, I caught this buy on US 30 for 100 pips. I caught EU for 20 pips. So right now I'm not really looking to risk too much, but if we want a perfect retest or a near perfect retest of the trend line. Remember, we do not have any markups. We don't have any bullish zones in here. The only thing we do have, let me go back to the 5 minute. The only thing we do have is a supply zone, demand zone. So you can see we're inside a demand zone. So 32,281 to 516. So this is almost 1,000 pip or 800 pip zone. So this is not a zone you want to play around with. So also we are in a supply zone within a supply zone. And then at the very bottom where US 30, oh, I don't know if we got that retest. If you guys get an entry, go ahead and take it. Let me see if I can. If this candle closes above that, I will take a buy. And my MT4 just happens to freeze at the most inopportune times. If this candle closes above there, yeah, sure, that would be a buy because we got a near perfect retest of the trend line. Or you can wait for, so long as this candle doesn't break that trend line. So we don't want any of this 1 minute candles to break below that trend line. Again, I'm not looking to risk too much. For you guys, if it's your first trade of the day, I recommend maybe having a 0.5 risk for this trade. Remember, US 30 can go, so that would be the buy right there. I'm not in it personally because my MT4 is frozen, so I am opening my phone. But if you're in it, you should be up. So 50 pips take profit, 50 pips stop loss. Remember to set break even at 20 pips if possible. So we need also this trend line to hold. Yes, so that is the buy that's there. So it's 50 pips. And you can see these candles definitely have volume, but we are looking for this trend line to hold. Keep in mind US 30 can go all the way down here. So just if it hits stop loss, that's fine. We cannot win any all the trades. Um, so if that trade gets stopped out, I would be looking for a closure above and a retest of the trend line to the upside. So remember, it's definitely Friday. Do not risk a lot of money today. All right, so be careful about this candle. If you see a retest and okay, that's what we want. We don't want this candle to come back and close below. Um, Let me try and remove these shadings because what if I remove the shadings or the drawings? So that hit stop loss. So if you took the loss, just take the loss and wait for the next entry. So remember today's Friday. If US 30 is to break here, so I told you guys we are in a demand zone right here within a demand zone. So if US 30 is to break this zone, we can possibly see US 30 going to the 31,538 area. Unfortunately, we do not even have any sell opportunities. So what I'll do, I'll go back to the 5 minute and observe price in here. I really don't like this shading. So I'll try to hide drawings maybe. Uh, okay. Let's just, so we know we have a demand zone here. I just don't like all of that green as much as so let's just know we have a demand zone in here. We have this trend line. So if we go in the 1 minute, oh, looks like it goes back now. Um, so that trend line would have been broken or will be invalidated. It looks like when I try to draw something else. Anyway, I'll just leave that. So that's a loss for the day. If you're down, if you took it with a 0.5 risk, you should be down 0.5 for the day. Um, so let's just wait for any other trade to line up. EU is approaching the trend line, but if US 30 has started going down, let us see how far down EU can go. So we do have a demand zone within a demand zone down here at 1.070095. So this would be if we enter the buy here, this is a 30 pip zone. So you can see how these candles are moving. So these candles have a lot of volume because normally we normally do a 20 pip stop loss for FX pairs. And you can see we can get stopped out and EU comes to the demand zone and shoots all the way back up. So I'm still watching US 30 here because we can possibly get a bullish hammer candle. And if that's the case, I would jump in. So since my MT4 froze, I did not take that trade. I was trying to take it on my phone, but I'll still count it as negative 0.5 for the day. And I will just, at this point, I'll just trade on my phone, which I really hate. But I think I realized what causes my trading view or my MT4 to freeze. So I'll take care of that over the weekend. So so this candle closed below the trend line. If we get a retest of that trend line and closure below, sure, it would be a sell, but we like, this is what I hate trading away from my order block markups. So right here we are only using the trend line to trade. At least we do have our indicator, and that's the one I caught the buy in the morning. But other than that, and other than knowing that we're in a demand zone, at the very least we need to wait for price to close above and get another entry to the upside. But this time we're definitely going to be careful. And price is coming back up. If you didn't take your loss, I'm sure you should be around break even, but I definitely recommend taking the loss when you can. So EU is bullish. Unfortunately, no retest, so price is still going back up, but you can see EU in a daily bullish high area. So I prefer EU to US 30 at this point, but you can see this daily bullish high is all the way up here. The daily bullish low is all the way down where it's all the way down here. So this is a huge zone for EU, and you can see all this demand zones. And given that it's Friday, this is a very risky trade as well. So the best, another good trade we can get is possibly gold, but I am waiting for a sell confirmation on gold. We are definitely in a sell area. You can see we have a supply zone. So if we do get a sell indication, then I would say we can take a sell right there. But until then, I am not looking at gold. So US 30 is the only thing I would be looking at today to hopefully recover that loss. And if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and ask, because right now it's mostly a waiting game for EU and for US 30. And I'm definitely expecting manipulation to the downside and maybe Sunday. So let's see at the structure for US 30. So yesterday when we reviewed EU, EU so played out perfectly, right? So this was around when we had the live session. And I told you guys EU is creating head and shoulders. The same thing I had analyzed for gold way back when gold was creating a head and shoulders on the hourly right here. So this same pattern repeated itself for EU. So yesterday we had this. If US 30 comes back up, somebody let me know. Actually, you know what? Let me just turn on my alerts. EU, gold, and US 30. That way I don't miss it. Because I think US 30, yeah, US 30 is below the 9 EMA for now. So EU yesterday, this was the play for it. We had a left shoulder that had already been created. We had a neckline. We had a head created up here, and then head balanced out around a neckline here. And then this was before the live session. So we did see a possible right shoulder to be created. And that's why we took, that's one of the reasons we took a buy on EU yesterday, the one that hit 20 pips profit. And then after, so just, you can also use my analysis because I don't trade 24 hours a day. So if we're expecting this to happen and you see EU went into and I did mention this during the live session, EU literally went into a supply zone within a supply zone. So if I can go to yesterday's markups on the Discord, the ones I sent for EU, look at that. We had a sell zone within a sell zone, and it also coincided with an hourly bearish low. So let's see. EU, guess what? EU exactly went into that hourly bearish low, into that supply zone within a supply zone, and dropped all the way back down. So if anybody was looking for a sell, you would be heavy in profit right there. Yeah, so just use my analysis. You don't have to wait for me to say buy or sell. If I expect head and shoulders, if I expect a bullish hammer candle, when you get that confirmation, go ahead and enter. Worst case, use a filler trade, but you can see how this analysis they're playing out. So right now, what do we have on EU? EU is about to create a bearish, and this is what I'm talking about, risky. The buys are kind of risky. On the hourly, we are possibly creating a death cross. So death cross is when the 9 EMA crosses the 200 EMA to the bottom, to the downside. So that is what's loading right here. And so US 30 is going back up. Okay, so we have a good bullish candle. So we need a retest. Again, this is still risky even on a Friday, but we do have a bullish ignited or whatever it's called, engulfing candle right here on the 5-minute. So I don't know if we are gonna get any retest. So look at that. We literally got faked out, stopped out, and price came back up. But I need a retest of this trend line to get into a buy. Again, for this one, I would still say do not risk anything more than 0.5%. Let's risk 0.5 so that worst case, you're break even for the day if you just joined the live session and if you took that loss. So here we'll go on the 1 minute, see what's happening on the 1 minute. So we want to see a reaction on this trend line to know that our trend line is valid. So what happened on the 1 minute? We had this candle that broke below. This candle retested our trend line, and that's the candle that took us out at stop loss. And then we had, look at that. So price went into the buy area, into the demand zone within a demand zone. So that's why it has a darker shade of green, and then rejected exactly at that zone. and then came back up. Price closed above the trend line, tried to close back down again, and then closed up. And then that's how we got that bullish candle on the 5 minute. So right now, this tells me our trend line is sufficient. I'm looking for buys personally. If you have confluences for a sell, use this trend line also. So this trend line is working either way, but personally I am looking for a buy. The only thing I'm looking to sell is gold. EU, so I did say we are possibly forming a death cross on the hourly. So what that might mean is that we need to watch the retest of the 9 EMA on the hourly, because what's likely to happen is that price is going to reject down from this area. The only thing, we do have a bearish low, bearish high, but you see we are also, if you look right here, and the other thing I've noticed on Fridays, they bring price around like conflicting zones. We have a 4-hour bullish high and bullish low. So technically right now, price closed above the 4-hour bullish high. If we get a retest of the 4-hour bullish low, if we get a retest and closure above, this might be a buy. However, the 9 EMA is only about, this is 691. This is only a 10 pip zone. So only if you want to catch a risky buy for 10 pips, because if price reaches this zone right here, 1.07707, we are going to have a reaction to the downside. And you see, we also have a bearish low. So what might happen? Price might come here around the 9 EMA on the 1 hour. So that's where the 9 EMA on the, and you can see there's definitely some sell side pressure even where price is right now. So this is what's likely to happen. And then price comes back down to this A demand zone. They test it. If they break this EU, and you see we do have a daily bearish high. So if this happens, EU is likely to fall even more. So this is only if you want to catch a 10 pip move. Only if you want to catch a 10 pip move. But for me, I'm not trying to catch anything risky. So US 30, if we get a retest, so let's see what can happen on US 30. I do see a structure on US 30 that needs to be completed to around, so right now we are on this support area. So that's why we have this demand zone within a demand zone, right? So that's what's holding price up. If US 30 breaks that, we are definitely coming down to 31,530. So if we do get a good break right here, this might be a quick sell for US 30. But I do see this structure to the downside being completed. So you can see this move up. And normally I told you guys, this instruments, US 30, gold, EU, whatnot, they like completing structures. So this move to the upside on US 30 might be short-lived. And you see we got faked out on that second trade and price went back up. But if they do break this zone, I don't know if that's going to happen today, but I do see US 30 coming back down to around 31,534 area. Now, if US 30 breaks, yeah, that's the last saving grace for US 30. If US 30 breaks down again, so remember the high time frame, I did say I expect US 30 to go to the 29,000 area. There is a 15-minute, so let's see if we can get anything to ride US 30 down. So we do have an hourly bearish low, hourly bearish high. So this might be a zone to keep in mind for US 30 sells. So hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low, change this to red. So if price comes up here, and looks like US 30 is taking off without us. Yeah, for any buys, I think we are safe with buys before this zone. I do see price going up here, and then it will decide whether it's going to come back and break all this. So if we do get a retest of the trend line, I'm still looking to buy US 30. But if price goes up here without retesting the trend line, that would be a risky buy from my end. Okay, this is okay. So we have a confirmation for a sell on gold. Now we need this red candle to come back up and retest the 9 EMA or the 200 EMA. Ideally, the 200 would be good since it's the first one. 991, the difference, okay. The difference between the 200 and the 9 is 20 pips. So ideally stop loss would be, our stop loss on gold is 50 pips. So our stop loss is 96. This is a small stop loss. So I would say use a smaller lot size and put your stop loss around 2000 area. So if you sell at 1991, so ideally have a 100 pip stop loss. Because you can see we came from this supply zone right here. We got a confirmation to the downside. Now we just need a good confirmation or a good sell confirmation. You can enter on impulse if you can ideally survive 100 pip drawdown and gold, but I don't recommend that. So let's just wait for gold to come back up here. So let's see what other confluences we have. And that's another reason I don't like using indicators because it kind of makes somebody lazy because I really don't want to be dependent upon an indicator by itself. I want to actually use my own strategies. And that's what we've been winning a lot with. So I do not just want to use an indicator by itself. But anyway, so this is what I'll do. I'll draw that, a trend line to the upside. So this trend line should hold, ideally hold for a downside move. So actually, I'm not going to sell at the 200 DMA. I'm always looking for an optimal sell zone. So the sell zone for me would be, at the very least, I think the 9 EMA would be a good sell area. So 50 pips stop loss, 50 pips take profit. So we just need that retest of the 9 EMA. This candle is 75, 30. So 45. I'm seeing a possible inverted bullish hammer candle. See if I can refresh this MT4. This is 975, the wick 30, so yeah, that's a 45 pip wick. Yeah, if we do get an inverted bullish hammer candle, I will sell US 30. I need gold to come back up. So that's what I'm talking about, just patience. EU still has a way to go up. Okay. 13 seconds. I don't know if we're gonna get it. For this trade, if we do get that inverted bullish hammer, which we're not getting, we are not getting that. Looking for this. So I'll draw this in case anybody gets any confluences, and then you can pick whatever direction. But for me, I need a retest of the trend line for any buys. All right, so gold is still coming back up. So that's what I was talking about, just patience, patience, patience. So this is what I was talking about, 200 EMA, but I want a safe entry because this is our stop loss is 50 pips. Like here, 50 pips, gold can come back into the supply zone, fake you out, and drop all the way back down. So at least here, our stop loss is above the supply zone. Even to be safer, you can do an 80 pip stop loss. But definitely I was expecting that reaction on the 200 EMA. Now the question is it gonna hold 89? And this I would consider a bullish hammer candle on gold because this is a 40 pip zone, 40 pip wick, 1989 to 1985. That's 40 pips on gold is a lot. So today the candles are definitely moving with volume. So that's why I'm not trying to, that's ideally one of the reasons we got stopped out on the second US 30 trade, even though it came back to the upside. So today we might need to increase our stop losses. So risk the same percentage, but increase your stop loss. So that would mean taking a lower lot size if you're going to increase your stop loss. If you still want to do the 50 pip stop loss, sure, but just, you know, this was a perfect example. We bought US 30 here, our stop loss was 50 pips, got faked out, stopped out, and price came back up to profit. So if you're going to use the same risk percentage today, make sure to either lower your risk if you want to keep using 50 pips stop loss, even for gold. So gold, so there you go, gold is coming back up. On the 9 EMA, let's see. And we have that trend line to the downside. So this is what I'm talking about. So our stop loss is also next to our trend line. So for this trade, you can use a filler trade, I'm going to say 80 pips stop loss. So that way our stop loss is above this structure. Our stop loss is above the trend line. Our stop loss is above the supply zone. The distance between this is still 10 pips. 10 pips is still kind of a lot for gold. But I'm looking for that retest of the 9 EMA. If you want to get in on the retest of the 200 EMA, sure. But for me, for any official trades, I am getting in on the retest of the 9 EMA.
No. Get him.
I know that's Steven and Dean. Let's see, gold. I hate trading on my phone. Right. Let's see if we get filled in. Just patience, patience, patience. So 1 minute is not really going to tell us anything. So where is price likely to go on the 1 minute is likely to go on the 200 EMA, but I'm not using the 1 minute really for entry. So personally, I will enter this trade right there. Our stop loss is 8, what is that? 80 pips. Careful. Risk the same percentage, 0.5 or even less. Remember, it's a Friday, so that's the only other trade. So hopefully we can recover the US 30 trade. And so there you go. US 30 is also coming back down. Gold, filled in on gold. EU, so EU is headed to where we talked about. So EU is headed to the 9 EMA on the hourly. So this is for those of you who wanted to catch 10 pips, this is a 10 pip ride. For me, I don't want to catch no 10 pips on an FX pair. So let's see what happens with the gold trade. Close this window. So that is, so gold is currently, what is that, 5 pips in drawdown. All right, so we are at the 9 EMA. Nothing on US 30 yet, nothing on EU yet. So here for EU, given again, like this trades on Friday, I've noticed they take price into conflicting zones. So we are in a 4-hour bullish zone, but we do have a bearish low up here, and we also do have this 9 EMA. Now, the only other time I can look for a buy continuation on EU is if this hourly candle that closes at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time closes above the 9 EMA. That is the only time. But right now, if this 9 EMA on the hourly holds price, and price is around, is almost getting there, if it holds price and rejects to the downside, like heavily, and closes maybe as a bearish candle on the hourly, then my sell bias on EU would continue. So only 2 trades. Personally, I took 3 trades. I had, and this is before the live session, a few minutes before the live session. I had a 100 pip win on US30. I had a 20 pip win on EU, but the only live trades we've taken is one buy on EU that got stopped out. So that's the one trade that got stopped out. So if you're risking, again, risk is everything. If you're risking, I said for that trade, you can risk 0.5%. So if you did take that trade and get stopped out, you should be down 0.5 for the day. Gold is our second trade. And that's why I said use a bigger stop loss, an 80 pip stop loss, because our 50 pip stop loss will be around here. So this way, and also for this trade, risk 0.5%. Or even less, given that it's also Friday. And there you go. EU is going to our direction to where, unfortunately, we didn't get another buy confirmation on EU. So now, since this is established as another high low, what I'll do, and this is on the 5-minute, I'll move my trend line to touch the third point of confluence. So remember, your trend line, if you're starting off, if it's a hanging trend line, of course, so this one had not been established on the 5-minute, but it got established. So since we also have a third establishment, use the third establishment. So you can skip the second one and connect the first established point of confluence to the third point of confluence. But don't keep doing that to the fourth, to the fifth, to the sixth. The first and third should hold. That's what ideally I've noticed. The first point of origin and the third point of connection, those areas normally hold long term. So the question is, what's going to happen? Because right now, EU is testing the 9 EMA on the hourly. And looking at the structure of EU, I still see a lot of structure to be completed to the downside. I see EU coming back here, and ideally coming back all the way to 1.05. So look at this whole structure on EU, right? They've completed it little by little. So I still do see EU coming back down here. Now the question is, are they going to do that now, today, or when, right? Because they can bring price back up here, come to this supply zone within a supply zone and take price all the way down. So right now, personally, I am looking for how EU will reject around this area. Remember, we do have a 15-minute bearish high and bearish low here. I do not trade those zones, 15-minute and 30-minute zones by themselves. But if I'm looking for the structure to be completed, they can definitely tap this in, which aligns with the 9 EMA on the hourly, and then grab liquidity from those zones and take it down here. But personally, I'm not looking to sell EU. There goes US30 to a possible buy sell zone up here. And keep in mind, it's crossing over a demand zone within a demand zone. So you can keep taking these trades, right? So you don't have to wait for me to say buy or sell. So remember, for me, the only trades I am counting are trades that I've taken officially, and especially since we are still gonna start counting or tallying those trades beginning Monday. I want to just give you trades that make sense. I just don't want people to FOMO in. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Yes, sir. Hey, what do we call you anyhow? I've been wondering.
No, you can just call me Michael. Oh, that's my name. Don't call me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's my name as well. Okay, yeah. So real quick, when with your strategy, okay, do you have like or for someone like me who is military, so I'm kind of like regimented, meaning step 1, step 2, step 3. You know, do you have something that has the steps? Okay, you know, like for instance, hey, step 1, you want to go through, you want to mark up your charts with the bearish, bullish, etc., etc. Step 2, you do this. Like for someone who's like myself.
Yeah. So currently, and that is definitely on me. So I'm still considering this like a startup. Ideally, Mostly it's just me doing the markups and the live sessions. I definitely have some other admins in here, but I still need to sit down and record the strategies. Like do a video recording of this is how, ideally what you said, step 1, step 2. So it's definitely something I've been meaning to do. So it's on me. I know I've been saying that I'll do it every week. So let me give myself to next Friday to do it. Because another thing, like for me, I do um 18 hours of my day are back to back. So I also have another job, but I also do so trading. I focus on trading a lot. So I invest a lot of time just back testing, creating these indicators that I'm telling you guys about. So most of the time is just fatigue from just doing a lot of these things. But yeah, because ideally my day starts at 5 a.m. and by like 7 p.m. I am out. I'm just tired. But I'll work on that. Just sit down and document. This is how you start. This is how you mark up the charts. This is what to be on the lookout for. But yes, I'll do that. Let me just give myself a deadline right here on the live session for next Friday, if that's fine. So ideally, if it's by next Friday, so let's say the Monday of what's the other Monday? Next Friday is the 31st. So let's say Monday, April 3rd, we will have those strategies, or we'll have documentation of those strategies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no rush. I just, kind of like I had sent you the DM. I've got my order block strategy
Yeah.
and then my indicator, but I mean, you've got your strategy as well, and so I want to kind of incorporate that
Yep.
and just kind of focus on those right there. But yeah, definitely appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. And this is what I was saying, do not use a 50 pip stop loss here. Gold is still bullish. So one of the reasons I entered this trade, so we do have this supply zone right here. If you entered with a 0.5 risk, which I said, there's no need for you to panic. So I am testing out this. So this is the indicator I was telling you guys about, that ideally intersects the high-low indicator we use, intersects a trend strategy, and intersects a buy and sell signal. So I am testing. So when I saw this, so I'm not just using it by itself, because if I was using it by itself, I would have said sell gold here, right? And we would have almost been stopped out. So here, so this is why even when we do get this indicator, do not use it by itself. If you want to use it by itself, sure, it's on you. You can make money definitely, but just know that that is on you. But since I got a sell here, so for me, I'm only using it as a confluence. I also have a supply zone that I've marked up here. That is perfect. And then I know that for a retest or for an entry, I need a retest of the 9 EMA. Now, for this particular indicator itself, I've seen that you want to wait for a retest of a 9 EMA. So let's, for example, see and ideally you want to use it in a trending zone. So this right here, I wouldn't call it. So gold was on an uptrend, but you can see this is more of consolidation than an uptrend, than a proper trend. So ideally you want to use it more in a trend. And I do have settings within here. Within this indicator, you can see the filters. You can have a super trend. So if you have the super trend on, you get a signal based on a trend that's been confirmed. So for example, and I don't want to have too many colors in here. So if I turn on the super trend length, you'll see, no, was that it? No, show trend down here. So if we want to see what the trend on gold is, no, actually not that, maybe it was this one. So I guess that's what I meant, that it was consolidating. So you'll see most of this is ideally consolidation. So you have consolidation here, consolidation here. So this is ideally, so when you get like a good trend, this is a good trend to the downside, right? Because you can see it's breaking down. As much as this is a bullish trend, right? This is consolidation. So just using the indicator by itself doesn't mean much. You also have to align it with other confluences. But so this is what I was telling you guys also in the group, that I'll figure out how to apply this to everybody, because I also have to keep in mind that I pay to have most of these instruments coded. So I have to balance that out and also educate you guys for free. Keep in mind, remember how we also recover trades. We use the trend line to recover trades. So if again it's Friday, even for me personally, I do not feel like risking that much. But remember, we also use trend lines to recover either trades we've lost or to scale in if we're still sure that the trend is downside. So what confluences do we have here? We have a possible change, a new trend change for gold. We have a supply zone in here, and we do have this trend line to the upside. This trend line to the upside has held on the 1 minute, so we are looking for it to hold on the 5 minute. So if you do get a retest and confirmation here, let's see, excuse me. If we do get a retest and confirmation on the 1 minute, that might be an opportunity to scale in. However, it's Friday. Do not over risk. Gold right now, it's 50-50, so it's partly bullish, partly bearish. So all assets, gold, US30 and EU are 50-50. So if you're going to scale in, again, keep proper risk management in mind and don't just hop in. Now, if I say I'm in, again, use proper risk. Don't enter with whatever big lot sizes. So for me, if I get confirmation here, I will hop into a sell. Looks like it might just take off without me. And that if it does, that's fine because I'm in a sell. So ignore this. This indicator, I don't recommend using it on the 1 minute. I recommend at the very least using it on the 5 minutes. So ignore anything on the ignore those signals on the 1 minute. So if this trade leaves me, I am perfectly fine with that because it's coming back to my direction. And you can see we have that rejection from 1998 area. So if I would have scaled in here, I would have scaled in with a bigger position. Again, I wouldn't, for those scale-ins, I don't look to ride price like 50 pips. I look to just close out of both trades at break even. But I did not get filled in there, so my MT4 is still frozen. Again, I think I figured out what makes it freeze, so I'll fix that over the weekend. So right now, in any case, I'm trading on my phone. So yeah, so we did not get a confirmation for a buy there on US30. So just let that trade be. There you go. EU, we got a rejection to the downside. I don't know if anybody used this confluence right here to scale into an EU sell. But there you go. Personally, I told you guys I already have a 100 pip win on US30. I had the EU win in the morning for 20 pips, so I am not looking for too much. This is the other way to use this. So this was a perfect example of how to use this indicator, right? You want to use it in an uptrend. So right here, you can see we have a sell, we have a buy, we have a sell, right? If you guys just want to sell and buy blindly based on the indicator, so right here, I would have super trend. So if I do the super trend setting, the buy went away, right? Because the trend right now is a sell. So, and guess what? You get a sell signal, you wait, you want to wait for the retest of the 9 EMA. If you want to hop in on impulse, sure, you can hop in. For FX pairs, I definitely recommend using 50 pip stop loss. But for me, I'll always use 20 pip stop loss because that's what I use to measure risk. You could have, if you entered on impulse, sure, trade would have went straight into profit. But the perfect trade is wait for a near retest or a retest around the 9 EMA. Wait for this one, came up around the 9 EMA, wait for closure, enter that, right? It still would have hit profit. And then what you want with this indicator, like avoid using it during consolidation, wait for a trend to break out. This is a perfect trend. Let me see if I can turn on that trend. So I'll even take off this super trend. Let's try and see. Wait, I haven't seen what. I probably need to ask my coder what this does. Well, I know it's a trend channel, but anyway, there's a lot of settings in here you can play with. But if we want to see the super trend, there you go. So this is what you want to see. Now this is a perfect sell trend, right? Ideally, I'll just have this turned off, but what did I normally tell you guys? So even though we are using our own strategy, so let's just, even without that indicator by itself, if we're looking for a buy, we want the price to close above the 9 EMA and retest the 9 EMA, right? So this trend, let me measure how big up to when price was here. So remember, for me, a trend on FX pairs is 40 pips and above. So this is 82.54. This is around 40 pips. Okay, so the first feeler, and most of these trades you want to enter with a feeler, buy or sell at first. So we got a closure above the 5 minute for after a long time, retest of the 9 EMA and closure above. You enter here with you enter a buy, and this is the reversal strategy. You enter a buy. This trade would have gotten stopped out. Feeler trades on FX pairs, you can go for 50 pips stop loss, 50 pips take profit, because ideally you're trying to run or take a bigger profit. And by a feeler lot, I mean risk 0.125% or at least, or no, so at least 0.25% of your account. Even better if you can risk 0.125. So this trade would have hit your stop loss, and guess what? You'd have only lost 0.25, right? So for me, what I did, now that we have this indicator, what I'm looking for here is like a buy signal, which when the trend changes to become green. So here, if I was just using my strategy, I would have hit stop loss and lost 0.25% or however much I was risking. So guess what? I kept waiting and waiting. So even if you want to keep using our strategy, remember we want the first candle, the first 5 minute candle after a trend to close above or below the 9 EMA. So if we're looking to catch a buy, we are looking for the candle to close above the 9 EMA, retest the 9 EMA and close above. Guess what? This didn't happen until this candle. So this candle closed above, and the 9 EMA, the next 5 minute candle, retested the 9 EMA on the 5 minute and closed above. So just with my own strategy, this would have been the buy. Now here, I go in, I don't have to risk, because we have such a long trend, I don't have to risk 0.25 here, I can risk 0.5%. So let's say I go for, since I'm risking 0.5%, I can go for 200 pips or 250. And if this trade hits, I'm gonna get back the money I lost from this sell right here. And right there, I would have made money on that trade. That's just by using my own strategy before this indicator. Now with this indicator, guess what? We get the first change in trend. So we have a bullish trend forming with this candle, and based on the automated system that I'll create to send signals, the signals will be sent on the closure of a candle. So for example, this one right here, you would get a signal for a buy. I would give whatever the stop loss would be for this one. Trade would have hit stop loss, right? But if you're in front of the charts, do not get in on impulse. So that's the same thing we did on gold. I don't know what's happening to gold right now. Okay, that's the same thing we did on gold. So I waited right here. I waited for price to retest the 9 EMA and I entered. So for this, if you're using this indicator as a strategy, you can enter on impulse because you know that the trend is ideally shifting. And I did say for EU and gold, it's better to use the 15-minute time frame. For US 30, you can use the 5-minute time frame to find those buy and sell signals. So here, what I did this morning, I had a 200 pip take profit, 200 pip stop loss. Now, personally, I did get stopped out of this trade. Maybe actually, yeah, I did enter on impulse because I was testing out this indicator. So I entered on impulse. I got taken out by this one right here. But if I had only waited here, I wouldn't have gotten stopped out of that trade. So what I did next, and this was before market open, and I definitely hate there you go. Trade is back, break even. And I hate trading market open. What I did, I waited for price to come back and close above the 9 EMA. I know the trend is changing to possibly a buy. And so what I waited for the first candle to close above the 9 EMA and retest the 9 EMA. And that's how I entered this buy. I did see this low setup, so I had my trend line ready. So I entered this for 20 pips. And guess what? When market opened, trade went straight up into profit. So if you're going to use this indicator, or if you're going to use these signals, make sure to go to the 9 EMA and wait for a retest of the 9 EMA. That is what I'm going to tell you guys. Yeah, so nothing much on EU. Gold is the only trade, so we are back in profit on gold, and this should go straight into profit. Look, so this trend line is holding, and if you had a chance to scale in, you can scale in. So remember, for gold, you're not gonna suffer scaling in or jumping on impulse like a few, because the difference between this was only 3 cents. So there's no need for you to wait for a perfect. The only trade or instrument that I'll wait for a near perfect retest is US30, because US30, a 10 pip difference can make the decision, or can make whatever between winning and losing. So between hitting take profit or stop loss. But gold, there's no need for you to wait for a perfect retest of the trend line, because if we waited for the perfect retest, let's see how much that cost us, right? So the perfect retest was 1998.30, price came up to 1998.10. So just a 28 cent. So that's like 0.1 pip, like 1 pip or something, or even 0.1 pip, whatever that is. So there's no need for you to lose $500 just for waiting for 38 cents or 28 cents to be covered. So there you go. Gold is back in profit. If you did use 0.5 risk, and this trade hits take profit, you'll be break even for the day, and that's only if you took the loss right here. I don't know if it's in a good way or not, because my MT4 was frozen. I did not get filled in this US30 buy that hit stop loss. So for me right now, I'm up 100 pips. So US30, I did the same thing, right? So same thing on US30. Let me take off this drawings, because just know that we're in a demand zone. Ideally for US30, we are in a heavy demand zone. So not every day do you see my charts all the way green or whatnot. But if I take that out and just get left with that indicator, you'll see that we were in a heavy sell on US30. Same thing. Oh, every time I try to do this, so I'm gonna try not to draw anything. We had a sell indication right here. You could have just wait for a retest of the 9 EMA, enter your sell. Even if you're using my strategies to catch a reversal, you need a candle to close above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute and retest and close above. So right here, we do not have any candle that, so this one closed above the 9 EMA, the next candle retested the 9 EMA and closed below. So you keep waiting. The next buy would have been here, close above the 9 EMA, retest of the 9 EMA. So this would have been the buy on US30. Remember, this reversal trades are filler trades. Our stop loss on US30 is normally 50 pips, but if it's a filler trade, go for double that. So do 100 pips, take profit, 100 pips stop loss, and there you go. You could have hit profit on your filler trade. That's by using
Too
our
late
own.
to scale in on that gold, you think? You think it's too late to scale in?
I wouldn't add a. I'm in with a 5 lot, so I am not personally. I am not scaling in there. Actually, I should close. Yeah, I'm in with a 5. It's, yeah, I don't recommend scaling in. And look at that. So the only time I would scale in, so we have a possible death cross coming in. So this death cross on the 5 minutes, but you can see until we break the 200 DMA, that's the only time I would say if we break the 200 DMA, you want a retest of the 200 DMA, and then you can scale in at that point. But so long as, and you can see price is being held above by the 9 EMA, by the 200 DMA. So that's a closure below the 200 DMA and retest of the 200 DMA. That's the only time. If you want to scale in here, if you really, really wanted to, just go for 10 pips. Don't go for the entire 50 pips. So let's see, US30. So with my own strategy, without using this indicator strategy, we would have hit take profit for 100 pips. But if you want to wait for a buy signal to show up with the indicator, you wait for the buy signal. It shows up, and this is the trade that I literally got in for 100 pips. It was before market open, but I also did not get into it blindly. I drew this trend line. So this trend line was holding on the 1 minute. So I drew my trend line. I saw this buy. I waited for price to retest the 9 EMA, and then I entered. I used I actually used a 10 lot, right? So I was only risking 0.25%, no, 0.5%, because it's a 200K account. I used a 10 lot, and it went straight into profit, 100 pips. Remember, our take profit is normally 50 pips, so you can imagine what 100 pips is, right? It's double what we do. So this is this indicator, coupled with our other strategies that we've developed over time, it is a money maker. Yeah, so no need to scale in for this one. You have to wait for closure below the 200 EMA for that particular trade. Now, since we are getting this trend line being respected, now the only other time to scale in is a retest of this trend line or near the trend line. But for that one, be careful, because what can happen, it is very possible for price to close above this trend line, retest the trend line, and go all the way up. Remember, gold right now during this financial times, when you have some banks failing, gold is a safe haven. And I did say I expect gold to go to 20. So the ideal sell of gold will be around 2030 for 2032 area. So what we are doing right now is just, and that's why I'm saying use small, use proper risk. So don't risk any more than 0.5%. Because gold can easily break above this trend line and use this trend line to go all the way up. So for now, the only time I would say scale in is closure below the 200 EMA on the 5-minute and retest of the 200 EMA and closure below. That's the only time. US 30. Oh God, I missed a bullish hammer candle. I don't know if you're in here, Livia. You're the one who should be catching these things. 71. This was a perfect buy. Did anybody catch this bullish hammer candle?
Yeah, I caught the sell coming off of out of an order block though.
Okay. Did anybody catch this buy from this bullish hammer? Because if I take this out, look at this. We've never lost this trade. Like, we've traded this candle, and don't worry, like for me, honestly, I'm up like 2% for the day. So I am not looking for, maybe that's why I'm
I
missing
missed
some
it.
of
I
this
scaled
trade.
it on gold, so I had to wait for the
Yeah.
spike real quick. I caught 400 on it.
This was a perfect, because remember, when we are trading bullish hammer candles or inverted bearish hammer candles, we need the wick to be 30 pips and above. So this wick was, that's 70, that is 17. This was a perfect buy that went straight into profit. Man, it's fine. We'll catch the next one. Yeah, but we haven't lost a trade for a bullish hammer candle. I think we've traded it like 10 times on the live session, and we haven't lost that yet. But at least I know I'm coming, we're in profit on gold. So I don't think there's a day we've gone without catching a trade. So that's another good thing here. As much as we analyze, and for me, most of these things is knowledge, right? So I've told you guys I'm already up 2% for the day, but I've definitely traded the bullish hammer candles with you guys before. So when such thing comes up, you can either let me know on the live session or trade it yourself. Remember, our win rate for this candlestick pattern is 100% on the live session. I don't know about after when the live ends. So if you already know that, it doesn't mean that we are going to win all of them always, but the probabilities are on our end. So if this was the case here, and I was expecting US 30 to go up to this zone, I would have entered this even with 100 lot or 50 lot personally and go for 20 pips. But yeah, you don't have to wait for me to say buy and sell. There's definitely entries everywhere. It's the same thing I tell you guys. If I was trading by myself right now, I would have caught US 30, I would have caught gold here, I would have caught EU, I wouldn't have caught EU, but I would have already sold here again. I would be out of this trade by now because I would have scaled in with a bigger lot size, closed the trades here, with one trade being larger than the other one. Yeah, but ideally what I want you guys to do is just learn so that you don't have to even wait for me to say buy and sell.
Quick question. Where's the 90 MA? Is it just something as simple as taking the 200 and changing it to the 90?
So it's the 90 EMA, not the 90, but yeah. So you just add, because the indicator is just what, moving average, or if you just type in EMA. So it's the moving average exponential. Just change the value. So once you load it on your chart, by default, it actually comes with the 9 EMA. So this is what you're changing here. So we have the 9 and load the next one, change this to 200. You can change the color. So for me, the 9 is blue with a thicker line or whatnot. And then 200 for me is orange. Yep, that's how you do that.
Okay.
Questions. I know it's Friday. So definitely we are more careful on Fridays, but doesn't mean we can't catch trades.
Yeah. Going back to that one real quick here. So I've got the 4 EMAs. I've got the so would the 9 be the entry? Because they have like an entry, fast, medium, and slow.
Yeah, so for me personally, I use the 9 to enter, right? So when I say we have like a lot of entries, give me 1 second.
Uh-huh.
So this trend line is holding. I will, but we are 50-50 on US 30. This is tricky. But I'll just enter this trade by myself, but I will buy US 30. I'm not gonna count this as a actual trade because I want to close out of gold, honestly. I will only go for like 20 pips. So for me, the 9 EMA, I use the 9 EMA to enter. So remember, my entries are either retest of a trend line, retest of the 9 EMA, or retest of structure. So the entry for me is 9 EMA. Sometimes you see like gold, when I said you can wait for the retest of the 200 EMA, that's when you have like a golden cross or a death cross. Now, the reason I said to wait for retest of the 9 EMA is that the difference between the 9 EMA and the 200 EMA is 30 pips, right? So for me, I would rather wait for the one that's higher, right? So you also want to know the distance. I will close out of that US. Let me see where US 30 is. Not yet. It depends on how this 5-minute candle will close. What was I saying? So it depends on what the distance between the 200 and the 9 is. In this case, my stop loss on gold is 50 pips. The distance between the 9 EMA and the 200 EMA was 30 pips. So I am not willing to hop into a sell down here and have a 30 pip distance where price can keep going up. So yeah, but for me, normally I just wait for the retest of the 9 EMA.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And then what's the other, and what's there's another indicator you were, I think it's your indicator.
Yeah, so that's so I've combined the high-low indicator we've been using and just applied a trend filter to it. So it filters out the trend for you, and when there's a change in trend, it gives you. So that's the one I'm having being worked on. So it filters out the trend for you and gives you buy and sell signals based on the trend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Because
that's still being made up. Go ahead.
oh no. I was gonna say because I do have the high low or high lower
Yeah, strategy.
on there.
Yeah.
Okay. But yours is actually a consolidation of that one with your own indicator.
Yes, correct.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Okay. That one's not out yet though, right?
No, that's not out. So the one we're using right now is just a prototype.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank
All
you.
right. So this right here on the 5-minute, what I will do, I will put the trend line, since this high low has been established as a high low. Before it wasn't established, so this is established as a high low. So this will be the I'm sorry, not the indicator, the trend line on the 5-minute. So for this particular trade, I may have to close out my US 30 buy, but that one wasn't an official trade. That was just me. And this is why you should follow your own strategies. But I was trying to trade off of that trend line, but that trend line got invalidated by that lower high. Let's see, gold, where is gold going? Gold is rejecting from here. If you're gonna scale in, be very careful. Let's see. So personally, I am scaling in. If you scale in, make sure.
scaled in already.
Yeah.
I'm done with that goal. I got out.
Yeah,
It's doing too much.
yeah. Gold is playing around too much. So same here. So let's see how that will go. So we definitely should see a retest of the 9 EMA. So if it retests the 9 EMA, I will close that trade. I got in with a bigger lot size. Let's see what I'm guessing, a 200 pip. Yeah. So right now, if you scaled in with a bigger lot size, I got in with double the lot size. You should be. Where's gold? Oh, it's almost. Or you should have been at break even. But I'm looking for that retest of the 9 EMA. So gold is dancing too much for my own liking. And honestly, I hate to be in like 3 trades that are running. Okay, let's see. Close that. What else? Does anybody else have anything to ask? Today I have a hard stop at like 10:55, so we have like 10 more minutes to go.
May I ask, what's the name of the indicator that you created?
So it's not yet out. So I'll just, so this indicator will be, I need to think about how I want to do this. But yeah, I'll let you guys know. So it's either I'll give it to you guys for a certain time frame, for a certain period of time, or I will create, so there's a way to send TradingView to Discord signals. So that's another way I can do. But I just want to be fair to everybody. There are people who definitely, of course, want to buy and sell signals. I do not do that because I believe in teach a man to fish instead of giving a man a fish. So it's either I will do an invite only where I will ask for people's what is it called, TradingView usernames, and then I will publish it to your TradingView account. And if I do it that way, it will be a subscription only indicator. So that will be a monthly subscription only. I also need to be fair. I still want to provide a lot of resources for free. So I also want to keep doing most of the things I'm doing for free. So I just need to know how I want to restructure everything. But right now, you don't need this indicator. You just need, if you've been following everything that I teach, we've won every single, ideally every day we've had wins without even this indicator. So in any case today, when I used this indicator, I had my first loss for the day. Actually, not my first loss, but I had the first loss with the indicator. So it just goes to show nothing can overdo your own learning. So long as you're learning, you don't need this. And actually, even when one of the changes that I'm requesting for this indicator is for the buy and sell signals to be taken out, or to have an option where you can uncheck the buy and sell signals, so that I just remain with the high lows, because I don't like signals. Like, because when I see a signal, and maybe our bias is for a buy, you kind of get, your psychology gets kind of affected, because you're like, oh, this one is telling me to sell, and then maybe you have a perfect buy analysis. So yeah, but I'm gonna decide on how I want to do that. I see my message here, my coder just got back to me, so he probably has something for me to test. But yeah, so if you scaled in on this, just look to exit at break even, because the trade, if you entered with a bigger lot size, your trades should be, and I'm trading on my phone, so I literally hate this. So let's see how far down it's gonna go. But you should be around break even-ish, depending on the lot sizing you used. So keep in mind, for these sessions, I'm only counting trades that I said I'm entering. So I'm in this gold sell, I'm in this gold sell. The US30 sell, that was the US30 buy that I'm holding. That's my own buy. But one other thing, so keep in mind, I don't know if we've seen this before, right? We've seen when we've marked up entries for a buy and sell, and then maybe price gets topped out, or we get in sometimes too early or too late, and then price literally comes back and tests the same entry. So one good thing right here is that we know there are buyers here based on this bullish hammer candle. It doesn't mean that price is going to go up, but you see that price can come all the way back down to this trend line. But we definitely know this area has buys. Also, we are in a demand zone within a demand zone. But that second buy that I took on US30, I'm not counting that. Ideally I just forward into that trade, which is what I'm trying to avoid also. But yeah, so the only trades I'm counting are the gold trades and the one US30 trade that hit stop loss. So this trade, you should have been able to close out around break even. Especially if you entered with a big lot size. Do not play with this, because they can break this trend line to the upside, retest that trend line, and shoot price all the way to the top. And gold is definitely turning to bullish right now. I do see a bullish momentum coming up, so be careful if you still want to hold this trade. Or if you did enter with a big lot size, you can scale out, or put stop loss around break even. And then, because this other trade, we were only risking 0.5%. So you can just let your other trade keep running. But, you know, I don't want people to mess up an already winning wick today. Does anybody have any questions? I only have 4 more minutes to be on the live session because I have to go. I have something to do in 10 minutes. Do we have any questions? So we have like 4 minutes to cover any questions. Okay. I don't know if there's any need of getting an indicator for the bullish hammer candles, but I think it might be helpful to have one of those. I think there is some on TradingView, but they're kind of weirdly configured. Let me test something out. US 30, let me take out these drawings. Let's see if it's gonna, because the only thing with the bullish hammer, it's because for me, what I consider a bullish hammer is subjective to what other people consider. Because other people, for me personally, I look at the wick of the candle. But for some people, the length of the wick of the candle does not matter. No detection, maybe, no. I'm looking for any indicator that would give this as a bullish hammer candle. Yeah, I think those are just some of the patterns that, no, that's not it. Yeah, so I think this is just one of those patterns that we'll just have to trade just by looking at the charts. So let's see. So wrapping back on the analysis, since I only have 2 more minutes. So US 30 came here. So again, still looking for US 30 to complete structure to the downside. US 30 came around this zone, but it hasn't really gotten to the hourly bearish low. These zones are normally tested in my experience, especially the high time frame ones to the pip or to the wick. So the difference here was only 10 pips. So it doesn't have to come back up there, but I still do see it giving a good test of this hourly bearish zone and then coming back down. Keep in mind, I expect US 30 to come. So it's completed the first structure. So we have this, right? So it already completed this first structure. US 30, I do see it dropping to 31,530 and then eventually 31,458. And then keep in mind, I do expect US 30 to go down to the 29,000 area. Yeah, so the next area, even on a, so 31,700 area, and then down to 31,500. So 31.7 is where we are at. 31,500. If we go to the 4 hour, that's when we'll see the high time frame zone structure. So no, let's try the daily. There we go. So this is the daily structure that I expect to be completed around 29,000 area. So any buys right now still are still short-lived for me, but since we are scalpers, we can trade both ways. Gold is coming back down. If you're still in this trade, you guys have, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm still in this trade, but unless you know how to recover from such trades, if it goes against you, just be careful about the trades. Does anybody have any questions? It's 10:55. I have something I need to attend to. So remember, we were expecting gold to test the 9 EMA. So now gold has no reason that it cannot break all the way to the top. So if you're still in this trade, please set break even, or if you can afford to lose this and you have this position is double this position, I mean, yeah, all the best. It doesn't mean that it's not going to come back down, but I did say I was expecting a retest of the 9 EMA on the 5-minute for this trade to hit profit. I know profit is below the 9 EMA, but around this zone, you should be at break even if you're using double the lot size of this first trade that's still in drawdown. So today we had, I might close this. I'm still in my US 30 buy. Given that I'm going to do something else, I think I'm gonna close out that trade. Well, let's see how it goes. So right now you should be at break even on gold for both trades. So gold is dropping. Let me see if I can hold on for a few more moments. But honestly, I will, if it comes back to break even for me, I will close this trade. I don't feel like being trapped, especially because I have US 30 going. Does anybody have any questions? Because I'll be signing out soon. All right. If not, I'll see you guys Monday. Monday we'll start officially recording the daily percentage gain for the live trades. So it won't count like today's win for me for 100 pips on US 30 and 20 pips for EU won't count because I took those trades before the live session. So I'll only be counting trades that I officially call out on the live session. You don't have to wait for me to call out those trades. If I give an analysis like this, because I was expecting US 30 to go up. If you find a confluence, go ahead and enter that trade. If you find a confluence for a sell, enter that sell. Same thing for EU. I marked up the same thing. If you find a confluence to keep riding the buy, even though we missed the other buy, go ahead and ride your buy to the upside. I had marked this to the downside, rejection to the downside here, which actually happened. If you find that confluence, go ahead and mark it up. I'm not going to count that analysis or that trade if I did not take it personally. So you guys don't have to wait for, and there you go, full TP on this other gold trade. I will close out of both gold trades right now, because ideally I'm actually up so much by 2 trades. So I entered with a 10 lot on the second trade. I had a 5 lot on the first trade. I am up heavy for the day. So right now I still have US 30, which I'll also close out. Hopefully you guys made profit. If you did take these 2 trades, so if you took this trade with double the lot size, you should only be down 0.5% for the day. So if you already closed, so actually if you took these 2 trades with double the lot size, you should be up for the day, even though you took the 0.5% risk with US 30. Because for me, I know I did not enter this trade, but if I entered, I would have lost, let's say how much, with a 0.5% risk, I would have lost that amount. Yeah, so you should be break even because here it's 0.5%. I asked you guys to do 0.5% for this one gold trade, the one that is still in drawdown. For this particular trade, I went in with a 1% risk. I know I put the stop loss above here, but I went in with a 10 lot. So I went in with double the risk size of this one. So the amount I got back from this one trade alone covered the US 30 loss that we took from, or personally, I know I wasn't filled into that trade that hit a loss, but for anybody who took a loss on that and took these 2 trades on gold, you should be break even for the day. I would say take the day off, go back and enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday for another good week. All right, bye guys.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye.